Hello, my name is Tom Morgan. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I'm going to talk to you today about South Coast Summit. So, this is a conference that's coming up in the UK. It is coming up in 17 days' time. As I record this, it's the 15th and 16th of October, happening in Southampton. The things I want to talk about today are the session content. So, big reason people go to conferences is to get the session content. Not the only reason, by far, definitely not the only reason. We've talked about this before. There's lots and lots of other good reasons to go to conferences, but it's the session content that sort of defines a lot of the interest of the learning that you'll do and the people that you'll be able to ask questions of and kind of catch up with afterwards and find like-minded folk in those sessions. So I thought it would be useful to go through the session schedule for South Coast Summit, and let's just kind of go through it and see the things that I'm interested in and the things that I would pick out, and maybe there'll be stuff in there that's useful for you, and sometimes it's useful to kind of think about how I choose kind of schedules and sessions. I think it's really important to think about this stuff before you attend. So if you're thinking of attending South Coast Summit, by the way, if you're thinking of attending and you haven't got a ticket yet, you should go and get that ticket. Be aware that some of the tickets for some of the kind of more exclusive events, so for instance the workshops and also any of the parties and things like that, they are selling up really fast. So make sure you get a ticket if you want to attend all of those additional things, and also if you want to go and attend the day, because at some point the capacity for that day, for the day itself, is going to run out as well. So if you want to attend, make sure you got a ticket. That wasn't what I was going to say though. I was going to talk about the sessions. Let me share my screen. You can see what I'm seeing. So this is the South Coast Summit homepage, southcoastsummit.com. You can see we're not very far away. And so the thing I'm going to go and focus in on right away is the session schedule. Okay, so this is going to load up all the sessions. And this is all focused in on the Saturday. So there's 2 days to South Coast Summit. The first day, the 15th, is all workshops. They're paid for. So you can choose an all-day workshop to attend. And then the Saturday, the 16th, is free to attend, and that's when all the sessions are. Now, this schedule is overwhelming. It really is. So let me, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see. So going along the top, these are all sessions that are happening at the same time. So this is why it's really important to think about what you want to do before you get there. Because if you get there and you get through the keynote, we're going to talk through the keynote in a minute, get through the keynote and it gets to 10 o'clock, and you've got to choose from, 18? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 different sessions in that moment at 5 to 10. You're not going to make good choices, right? And you don't want to repeat that every hour throughout the day. You want to make sure you're making good choices. So it's really important to review this list of sessions ahead of time and really think about what you want to attend and get excited about it. Do some research, maybe check up on the speaker, look at their credentials, think of some questions you might want to have answered. And that way, if they don't get answered, you can kind of make sure you ask them as questions. So preparation. But let's look through this. So the day, Saturday, starts off at 9 o'clock with a keynote. What I was missing is this ginormous banner at the bottom, and I know you've probably seen it on the video and you're shouting at me, look, keynote speakers now announced. Find out what's going on for keynote speakers. So, Don Osaka, huge Director of Technology at Microsoft. So, if you don't know who Don Osaka is, just go and check LinkedIn or just check the web for a bit. She's very, very vocal around Power Platform. She's come, I want to say, from the Windows world. She was leading the Insider program. I think that's right. I might have made that up completely. But yeah, now all over kind of Power Platform and those kind of things. I think she's also just moved again into a different role. So that's going to be really interesting to see what she has to say about it. She's now doing a lot with, I want to say, accessibility, I think. So that's going to be really interesting, actually. A fascinating person to listen to, and a great speaker too. Richard Potter, Director of Digital Strategy for Microsoft UK, obviously hugely important, in the UK, huge presence from Microsoft. So that's going to be a really interesting thing as well. And also Helen Wilson, Director of Modern Work, Customer Success Team at Microsoft UK again. So really kind of big guns in from Microsoft for this one. Some 3 really big names to keynote for South Coast Summit. South Coast Summit is billed as, a big Microsoft conference, and they've definitely brought in the speakers from Microsoft to match that. So that's good. That tells me actually that Microsoft like this conference. They care about this conference. Like, you know what I mean? Like the speakers they've lined up to show up to Keynote at this are, they're big. And they'll draw crowds. It's going to be busy, that keynote. So if you're interested in doing that, sort of make sure you're kind of there early. Make sure you can get a seat and all those sort of things. So your first 40 minutes is going to be the keynote. And so then after that, you've got some tough choices to make. So let's look along this list. And this is one way to do it. I'm going to go through a different way in a minute, but I think this is quite useful to give you a feel for like, okay, it's 10 o'clock. What do I need to do? What do I want to go and see? If you're all in on Microsoft Teams, now this is not just a Teams conference, but there is going to be a lot of Teams content in here because, Teams is a really big part of what we're doing at the moment. You've got sessions on deploying Microsoft Teams. You've got sessions on, let's have a look, Team Sprawl. You've got the modern workplace. 5 ways to take your Teams environment from chaotic to efficient. And so you've got that. You've got some other things for real kind of dev-focused stuff. You've got building business-critical apps on AKS. You've got things like why do intranets fail? That's interesting. Some stuff on the Power Platform, Modern Workplace, pushing the boundaries of Power BI, some AI stuff, Office 365, Azure governance, all sorts of things, right? Some kind of leadership stuff here. So depending on who you are, what you're interested in, there is plenty to choose from. Now, you've got some choices because these are 40 minutes here. So if you can't make for 10 o'clock or you've got stuff you want to do, or even to be honest, if you just want to look around the expo floor, if this is your first in-person conference, maybe do the keynote from 9 till 10, then take time out at 10, because you will be tired after that keynote. You will be really surprised if you've not sat in a keynote in person for 18 months or any sessions or anything in person. You will be tired. Your brain will be tired. So maybe take a bit of time out between 10 and 10:30 if there's some things down here that you really want to go and see, and just have a look around the expo hall, just kind of gather your thoughts, because down here we've got implementing teams, we've got Dataverse. Dataverse is really hot at the moment. I'm kind of interested in that. By the way, you can click on these just for a little abstract as well. So, a year of Dataverse. I wouldn't have thought that. It feels like only yesterday we were making the announcements about Dataverse. But Azure Arc, all sorts of things. So you've got building apps in Microsoft Teams as well. And so all sorts of things going on. So it might be that actually you want to take some time out here. And this is kind of a common theme. You'll see there's some staggering of session content here. So if you're going to the 10 o'clock, then you've got these are 40 minutes and then you've got 20 minutes off. And if you want to, you could try overlapping maybe. Not sure how well that's going to work. Honestly, I would probably counsel against doing back-to-back all day. You're not going to get the best out of yourself if you just completely back-to-back sessions. But some people do, especially if there's things you really, really want to see. If there's a session up here you definitely want to see and one here you want to see, maybe you back-to-back and then you skip 11 o'clock or something. So just take it easy as well. There's lots and lots at a conference other than the sessions. So don't feel like you have to completely fill up your day with session content. Down here, there's more Teams things. There's a really nice mix, actually, and we're going to go into the list in a second, but there's a nice mix of very technical and non-technical as well, so you can dip in and out. There's some vendor sessions kind of sprinkled in through here. Sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. So here we've got like a hands-on with Exclaimer Cloud. That feels like it's probably a vendor-led session. So head of product at Exclaimer. So not saying they're bad or good, like it's just so you're aware. Like vendor sessions can be a really useful way of quickly getting up to speed with the product and asking questions directly from the people that made it. So I'm absolutely not kind of against vendor sessions at all. It's just you need to sort of be aware that's what they are going into them. Like if you want to find out more about Exclaimer Cloud, that is absolutely the place to go. So this is a good session. I saw this in the list earlier. Actually, Yannick's talking about Fusion Dev, which is a cool. Obviously, Yannick and Louise. I'm definitely attending that. Then both Yannick and Louise are great speakers together. That's going to be a fun session. So I love this idea of Fusion Dev as well. This collaboration between pro developers and low code system developers and makers. So I think this is a really good idea. yeah, like if you're doing anything in kind of Power Platform, or you've got teams that are Power Platform teams and you've got teams that are Pro Dev teams, go check that session out. I think that's kind of interesting. So you can carry on doing this. Like you can go throughout the whole day. You can go through these. Like there's so many sessions in here. Oh look, the journey of beginning a systems developer. That's interesting. Like yeah, you can do this approach of going through like hour by hour and then making essentially shortlist choices. And you don't have to choose one at this point. You can choose 2 or 3 and see how you feel on the day. But yeah, just be aware of all the things that are happening. And then the day ends, if you like. The last session finishes at 5:20, and then there's a sponsored drink section. That sounds interesting. There's no detail on that. And then there's a charity pub quiz. I think that is paid for extra, the charity pub quiz, but obviously all the money goes to charity. So yes, it looks like that's true. So there's a link here to go and get the tickets, and then all the money for that, all the funds go to Breast Cancer UK, which I think is a fantastic idea. It's a really good idea. So get involved in that. So let's come back to sessions for a minute. I'm just going to call this one out because putting emojis in a title of a session is an amazing idea because it immediately draws your eye towards it. So good job, Yannick. That's a cool one. And so this is one way of doing session choices. The other thing you can do is at the top, you can flip it into session list view. And if you do that, you'll get it organized by track. So this obviously makes it slightly harder to see what's going on. But for instance, if you know that you want to do Power BI. So you're a Power BI person and you only really want to attend Power BI sessions. Now, I'm going to say that is not how you should approach a conference, but let's say you're a Power BI person and you want to focus first on finding all the Power BI sessions so you can then figure out what else you're going to do. Okay, fine. You can use this to get the different tracks and then you'll get all the Power BI sessions and they're in order. So you've got something at 10 o'clock, you've got something at 11 o'clock, you've got 2 things to choose from at 11 o'clock. You've got 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. You've got stuff all through the day, basically. So you could choose to do Power BI all day long if you wanted to. Or you might say, okay, well, those are like my primary choices, and I'm going to choose, 4 or 5 of these, and then I've got some spaces left. Then I'll drop back to the session scheduler and say, okay, I've got a space at 1 o'clock or whatever it is. What else do I want to do that's not Power BI? Because I think having a mix is really useful. Conferences are great for getting a mix of different things. So you can do it this way. You can do it by track. So you've got different tracks, obviously, for different things. The one I care about most, obviously, is the development extensibility one, because that's all about the platform. And for me, it's all about the platform, the Teams platform specifically, but also more and more, actually, that's broadening into the Graph, Microsoft 365 platform as well. So that's what I'm interested in. And there's some sessions in here. I'm doing a session as well on Azure Communication Services. That's at 1 o'clock on the Saturday, and that is in the development extensibility track. And then there's other things happening in this track as well. Lee's doing a great session on Teams app development introduction. So if you're new into Teams app development, then go and check that one out as well. And then some other sessions as well. Some good stuff on SPFX solutions. I don't know very much about SPFX, if I'm honest. I haven't come from that SharePoint development background, so I might go and watch that because it's always good to get some new information in, right, to learn some new things. So that's another good thing, actually, about conferences. Don't just go to the things that you know about, So it's really easy to find a session and you find a real natural affinity to that session, right? So yes, I understand that session. I understand the title. That's a session I would give, or I can read all the abstracts. I know every word of what they're saying. I know what they're going to talk about. Maybe don't go to that session because you're not going to learn anything from that. You might learn something, like you'll get tips and tricks. If it's your bread and butter, if it's the stuff you do every day for work, then maybe you do need to do a couple of those to make sure you're staying current. Try and find a session that scares you a little bit or has got words in it you don't understand, and like acronyms that are new to you. Try that one. You'll learn some new things. And you'll take your knowledge in a new direction, and that will only help the stuff you do every day. All right, that's how I choose sessions. This is a hard one. Like this South Coast Summit session list is huge. Choosing these sessions is going to be really hard. So it's even more important than usual, actually, to really think about what you're doing, to really think about how you're going to structure your time and the choices you're going to make. All right, I think that's everything from me. go check out the session schedule for South Coast Summit. Don't leave it till the morning. Don't leave it till the morning of. Don't kind of just show up and be like, I don't know what to do now, because you're just going to get overwhelmed. Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different tracks. There's an awful lot of sessions. So plan your day. Plan for success. It's going to be a fantastic conference. It's going to be a fantastic event. There's going to be a real buzz. There's going to be lots and lots of people. I'm very excited for it. And I will see you there. If you're going to be at South Coast Summit, let me know. Let's meet up. Let's have a chat. And yeah, whatever else it is you're doing between now and South Coast Summit, preparation, I hope, training, planning, and all those things. Have a good one. And I will talk to you again next time.